All jokes aside, I do appreciate everyone who did like, comment, and subscribe on the last video. It means a lot to me. I'm going to continue to keep getting better with edits and scripts and all that, but thank you everyone, and I hope you enjoy the video. Death the Kid, the son of Death himself, a shinigami whose bullets can kill gods, one of the most powerful beings in Soul Eater's universe. Most people watch Death the Kid and laugh. It's comedy, right? The symmetry obsession, the breakdowns over minor imperfections, the way he'll abandon a mission because someone folded a napkin wrong. Sometimes it can come across as annoying. When I first watched Soul Eater as a kid, I thought Death the Kid was the coolest character in the show. The dual pistols, the skull aesthetic, the son of Death himself, and his guns were the Thompson sisters. But I also just laughed at his breakdowns because I didn't understand him. I didn't question anything of it. But out of all the things you can obsess over, power, control, perfection, and combat, why does this literal god fixate on whether his weapons are standing at identical angles? Death the Kid isn't obsessed with symmetry, he's obsessed with being whole. Let's start with obvious. Death the Kid has an asymmetrical haircut, 3 white stripes on the side of his head, 0 on the other. For someone with OCD level symmetry obsession, this should be torture, and it is. Kid hates those stripes. He calls himself garbage, worthless, asymmetrical trash because of them. He can't even change them. Those stripes aren't even a style choice. They signify that Kid really is a fragment of the original Death, his father. The lines of Sanzu are incomplete because Kid himself is incomplete. He's not a full shinigami yet, he's a piece of one. No matter what he does, no matter how perfect he makes everything else in his life, he will always look in the mirror and see proof that he's not whole. Honestly, this can be considered as body dysmorphia, a condition where someone becomes obsessed with perceived flaws in their appearance and others barely notice. They can't stop seeing the imperfection. It dominates their self-image. Kid doesn't have body dysmorphia in a clinical sense. He has something worse. He has proof. His father is whole. His father is complete. Every time Kid looks at Lord Death, he sees what he's supposed to become and isn't yet. The stripes aren't imagined. The incompleteness isn't in his head. It's literally physically marked on his body for everyone to see. So what does Kid do? He compensates. If he can't control his own incompleteness, he'll control everything else. Every candle must be the same height, every painting must be perfectly leveled, his weapons, Liz and Patty, must stand at identical angles. Kid isn't obsessed with symmetry because he thinks it's aesthetically pleasing. He's obsessed because symmetry means completeness. It makes him feel whole. It's the closest thing to feeling whole he can get. It means everything he's terrified he'll never be. The comedy of his obsession is a mask for existential dread. Every time he panics over a crooked frame, what he's really feeling is, if even the world around me is incomplete, then what hope do I have? Death the Kid isn't just Lord Death's son. He's a fragment of him. Kid isn't a child. He's a succession plan. Think about what that means for your identity. Most people struggle with questions like who am I or what's my purpose. Those are hard enough. But Kid's questions are even more destabilizing. Am I even me? Or am I just a piece of someone else waiting to become him? In psychology, there's a concept called individuation, the process of becoming your own person, separate from your parents and your origins. It's a critical part of adolescence development. You take what you have inherited and transform it into something uniquely yours. But Kid can't individuate because he was never supposed to be an individual in the first place. He's not Lord Death's heir. His entire existence is designed to end with him becoming his father. Not following in his footsteps, literally becoming him. Absorbing back into the role, ceasing to be Kid, and becoming the next Death. Every choice Kid makes, every relationship he builds, every part of himself he tries to develop, it all exists under a shadow. Does any of this matter if I'm going to disappear into something else? His symmetry obsession isn't just about being whole. It's about having control over something, anything, when his entire existence feels predetermined. If he can't decide who he'll become, at least he can decide where the furniture goes. And then the series does something brilliant. It shows us what Kid's obsession looks like when you take it to the logical extreme. There's moments in Soul Eater where Kid is exposed to the madness of order. It's a corruption that plays on each character's psychological weak point. And for Kid, the madness doesn't make him chaotic. It makes him perfectly, terrifyingly rational. Under the madness of order, Kid stops caring about people, about his friends, about anything except for pure, absolute balance. He becomes willing to destroy anything that disrupts the cosmic order, not out of malice, but out of cold logic. If something is asymmetrical, remove it. If something is imbalanced, correct it. If a life disrupts order, end it. This is his obsession without the humanity to temper it. And that sounds horrifying, at least to me. In psychology, this is what we call the difference between ego-dystonic and ego-syntonic. Ego-dystonic means that the person recognizes their obsession is the problem. They fight against it and it causes them distress. Normal kid is ego-dystonic. He knows his symmetry fixation is irrational. He hates that he can't control it. He's embarrassed when he has breakdowns in front of his friends. But madness kid is ego-syntonic. He doesn't see it as a problem anymore. The obsession isn't fighting against his values. It is his values. There's no internal conflict, just cold, perfect logic. And here's the thing that's scary. This version of kid is more powerful. Without the anxiety, without the self-doubt, without the emotional connections cluttering his mind, kid becomes nearly unbeatable. The madness version of him is what he could be if he stopped fighting against himself. And kid knows this. He knows that the perfect version of himself, the complete shinigami, the true successor of death, might be someone without warmth, without friends, without the messy, asymmetrical, imperfect parts of human. When he rejects the madness of order, he's not just choosing his friends over power, he's choosing to remain incomplete. He's choosing to stay kid, anxious, flawed, obsessive kid, rather than being the perfect God he was designed to be. That's not weakness, that's the bravest choice in the entire series. Honestly, that scene hits different when I rewatched it as an adult, because I've been there. Not with cosmic madness, obviously, but with perfectionism, with the voice that says if you can't do something flawlessly, don't do it at all, with the paralysis of never starting because you know it won't be good enough. I spent years not creating anything because I couldn't make it perfect. And the messed up part, that perfect version of my head, the one I was protecting by never trying, it didn't even exist. It was just an excuse to stay safe. Kid choosing to stay incomplete, to stay flawed, to keep his messy human connections instead of ascending to cold perfection. That's the lesson I wish I learned a decade earlier. So how does Kid survive? How does someone with that much existential weight on his shoulder function at all? The answer is Liz and Patty Thompson. On the surface, they're comedy relief. Liz is the nervous one, Patty is the chaotic one, and their interactions with Kid are usually played for laughs. But look closer. Liz and Patty are the only asymmetrical Kid allows. They are twin pistols, yes, but they are not identical. Liz is tall and anxious, Patty is short and unhinged. They look similar but act completely different. And Kid doesn't just tolerate asymmetry, he needs it. In psychology, there's a concept called secure attachment. It's the bond we form with people who accept us as we are, not the perfect version, not the potential version, but the messy, anxious, flawed version that exists right now. Liz and Patty don't care about Kid being a shinigami. They don't care about the lines of Sun Tzu. They tease him about his breakdowns. They roll their eyes when he measures the distance between candles. They see him as a person, not a fragment, not a succession plan, a person. And that's exactly what Kid needs. He surrounds himself with symmetry because he's terrified of being incomplete. But Liz and Patty prove something crucial. You don't have to be whole to be valued. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You can be a work in progress and still matter. The entire series, Kid is running from his incompleteness. But his weapons, his partners, his friends never asked him to be complete. They chose him as he is, stripes and all. And then it happens. Lord Death dies and the Kid becomes the new Shinigami. The loss of self he spent the whole series running from. It arrives. His stripes complete. Both sides of his hair now match. For the first time in his existence, Death the Kid is symmetrical. He's whole. He's perfect. And it's not a trump, because becoming complete meant his father had to die. Becoming whole meant inheriting a burden no one else can carry. Becoming perfect meant accepting that the version of himself he fought so hard to protect was always temporary. The symmetry obsession was never really about picture frames and candles. It was about this moment. Kid spent his whole life terrified of becoming incomplete. And when he finally became complete, he realized the incompleteness wasn't that real enemy. Loss was. He's whole now, but the people who made him feel whole as a fragment, his father, his friends who knew him as Kid, that world is gone. He's not Death the Kid anymore. He's just Death. And that's a tragedy the series never fully unpacks. Kid got everything he thought he wanted. The symmetry, the completion, the power. And it cost him the only thing that ever made incompleteness bearable. Being Kid. Death the Kid isn't just a joke character. He's a meditation on identity, inheritance, and the terrifying question of whether we are our own people or just continuations of something else. His obsession with symmetry was never shallow. It was the visible symptom of an invisible wound. The knowledge that he was never meant to be an individual. that he was designed to disappear into something greater. And when the comedy falls away, that's one of the most tragic arcs in the show. Death the Kid showed me what I was doing to myself before I had the language for it. The perfectionism, the paralysis, the belief that flawed meant worthless. Kid taught me that you can choose to stay incomplete, that the messy imperfection version of you, the one that actually exists, is worth more than the perfect version that never will. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. Like, comment, subscribe, and let me know what you think. Let me know who I should break down next. Peace out.